In this section, we'll do a short review of different verb tenses. While you've probably studied them as one of the very first things you learned in English and you use them constantly when you speak, there are a few problem areas that tend to come up in job search situations. So we'll want to cover those today. Specifically, we'll cover a quick review of the present simple, when we should use the present simple versus the present continuous, and when we should use the past simple versus the present perfect. So let's start with the first one of those, the review of the present simple in interview situations. First of all, we use the present simple to describe facts, things that are constant, like routines or processes. Let's look at an example. I'm an account manager. I deal with our customers' requests. I usually reply to their emails first thing in the morning. Now, if we speak about a colleague, a manager, or anyone else other than us, we'll use the third person singular, speaking about him or her, he or she. In this case, the verb will take an extra S sound. Let's look at some of those examples. My colleague is a product designer. He deals with requirements. He always replies to my texts within minutes. In some cases, we can also use they or them to talk about a person. We might not know if the person we're talking about is a man or a woman. Or we may be speaking about a colleague whose pronouns are they and them. Let's look at some of those examples. When a client calls me, they usually give me an update or they explain new issues that they need our help on. Great. Now let's move on to using the present simple versus the present continuous. We'll often use the present simple when we describe our tasks for the current role, like we just saw. But we can also use the present continuous depending on the situation. Let's see some examples. I'm working on 2 global accounts. We're not taking on new projects right now. We're testing the 2.0 version. Here, the present continuous makes more sense because they are temporary situations. It's what we're currently doing. It may not always have been the case. We might expect it to change soon. Let's see some more examples. We're migrating everything to the cloud. We're doing more and more in-office meetings. Here, we use the present continuous because these are gradual, ongoing changes. In choosing the tense you use, present simple or present continuous, the key is the message you want to get across. In many cases, using either tense will be grammatically correct, but they will suggest different things. Let's see some examples. Think of these sentences. I travel a lot. I'm traveling a lot. Both of these sentences are correct, but they suggest different things. I travel a lot suggests a constant. I travel a lot as a sales manager. I see customers across the country every week. But I'm traveling a lot suggests a temporary situation. Maybe I'm responsible for the North region, but we've recently hired more sales reps in the South region, so I'm traveling a lot right now to show them around until they're ready to visit customers on their own. Finally, let's do a review of when we use the past simple versus the present perfect. This is another frequent question that comes up when preparing for an interview. Brief overview. We use the past simple to talk about events that happened in a specific time in the past or a finished action. For example, I joined XYZ Corporation in 2018. I was promoted 2 years ago. We received a complaint from a customer. So we checked the system and we identified the source of the problem. On the other hand, we use the present perfect to talk about events either in an unspecified time in the past, like ever or never, or in the past with a strong link to the present, either because this period is still ongoing or because it affects the current situation in a quite direct way. Let's look at some examples of that. I've worked on several different projects. I'm not specifying when. It possibly refers to my career, which is still ongoing. I've seen this type of problem before. Again, I don't specify when, and maybe as a result of this, now I'm very familiar with this type of problem. So there's a strong link between this experience in the past and the situation in the present. Again, in many cases, either tense will be correct, but they suggest different things. Let's look at an example of this. If I say, I read the report, it suggests I read it at some point in time. Maybe I read it, I took the necessary action back then, and then I forgot about it. Maybe I read it, but I don't remember what the report said, or it wasn't really clear. Instead, if I say, I've read the report, it suggests a stronger link to the present. It suggests that since I've read it, I know what it says. We can go ahead and discuss it now. Imagine the following short dialogue to see this difference. Has everyone read the report? Yes, I've read it, so I know what it says. Or, has everyone read the report? Actually, I read it last week. I might need a recap. See the difference? It might take some practice and fine-tuning to understand which tense is best in each situation. It might help you to use the summary that you can find in the language sheet, and when in doubt, go through that sheet to help you decide how to phrase things for your interviews.